Alright, today's sculpt on today's live stream is either going to go horribly wrong or really good because we are doing a likeness sculpt. And it's not really easy to do a likeness sculpt. Likeness is not for the weak, but I'm just going to get started and hopefully this goes well. I'm also going to do it in only 1 hour. So let's see how that goes. I'm going to get started right away. I'm going to block out the face first things first. That's the first step I always take, to block out the face. I'll bring this down here and let's pull this out. Nice. Now that we have something like this, hello Tonia, how you doing? I'm going to line project and I'll slice off the side of the head and I'm going to smooth this out. Alright, I'm also going to just, this guy on the reference we're using today, he has a really nice jaw shape, so I want to get that in very early on the sculpt. So I'll go ahead and do that with the grab brush. I'll just pull this out and make sure to define the jaw. Something like this. We want to start getting the shapes in from very early on so that it looks nice. Your work is such a big help. Still trying with what I have. Also, do you animate? Thank you. No, I do not animate. I don't do a lot of animation. I can animate a couple of things, but I've not practiced it that much, so I'm not really good at it. It's just a tiny bit, but I don't animate. I like to model characters instead. Okay, I'm just going to move cranium up. Then let's flatten out the back of the head. Okay, something like this. And I'm going to use the crease polish brush once again. And I'm just going to mark out the side or the separation between the jaw and the cranium. Just like this. Okay, nice. Let's go ahead and block out the neck, round cube, adding a new round cube, and I'll just move this down here. And for this character is the male character, so you can make the neck actually really big or really thick. So I'm just going to S, Z, actually, I'll just select this E to extrude this down. I'll select this and I'll move it right here. Something like this. Okay, I'll add in a couple more loop cuts right here. And let's go into sculpt mode, turn on X symmetry, and I'll just push this into place. Something like this. Nice. Also make sure from the side that it flows into the head. And I'm just going to smooth this out. Nice. This looks good. Let's pull out the shoulders, indication of where the shoulders will join the neck. Something like this looks nice. Let's make sure that this back transitions nicely into the back of the head. We'll smooth this out. And now one thing I like to do is use the line project brush and just slice the back of the head, sorry, the bottom of the neck, something like this. Okay, and I'm just going to sculpting. If I do that, I'm just going to adjust the shape of the head. Something like this should be better. Okay, and I'm going to add in a round cube and I'm just going to block out the bust of this sculpt. I'm going to edit mode, move this down here, and I'll take it to the back, G and Z right here, and S and Y. Okay, Tonya, I can't wait to see the outcome. I'm very afraid what the outcome will be because we are doing likeness. So I'm not sure if it will turn out good, but let's trust the process. In the next 1 hour, you'll see how far we've come. I'm going to turn on X symmetry. I'm going to pull this out. Okay, and I'll just sculpt in the shoulders, something like this. I'll pull the chest forward Thank you, Tonia. All right, I'm just going to sculpt this something like this. Okay, this looks good. I'll use the line project brush also, and I'm going to slice this. Okay. Also, if you guys have any questions about my workflow, feel free to just drop it in the chat and I'll be glad to answer them or to clear them out for you guys. Alright, let's block out the ears. So adding another round cube, go into edit mode. Let's scale this down, bring this to the left side of the character. From the side view, I'll go into sculpt mode. I'll use the line project brush once again, and I'll just slice the front and the back of the ear so that we have something flat like this. S and Y to scale it down, and I'll just scale this up like so. Alright, I'm going to go into sculpt mode, and we're just sculpting a very simple shape of the ear. So right here, just have this really simple shape. It's going in here a little bit, so we just go ahead and do that. I'll use the grab brush, bring this up. I'll take this in, and I'll bring this down here. Just something really simple like this. We're just looking at the overall shape, and that's what we are blocking in. Alright, this looks nice. I'm going to go ahead and symmetrize this over to the other side. I'll turn on or come to symmetrize +X to -X, and then I'm going to symmetrize this. Nice. Let me also turn on screencast keys for you guys so that I can see what I'm pressing. Alright, and the ear should be rotated like this, and I'll just move this into the face a little bit more and symmetrize this again. Make sure to turn on X symmetry. I'm going to use the grab brush to pull this in, something like this. I'm going to work on the shape of the head a little bit more. I'm going to bring the forehead up. Okay, and then let's just pull out the cheekbones just out just a little bit. Then I'm going to solidify the shape of the jaw from the side view. Okay, wow, this looks good. I like the block out. And then I'm going to use the grab brush. I'll pull this back. Something like this looks good. And then I'm going to plane out the temporal region of the head. So this side of the head, I'm just going to use the script brush and I'm going to plane that side out. I like to do this early on also, just so that we can get a nice shape for the head. So something like this, and I'm just going to make the top of the skull much larger than the jaw. Okay, something like this. I'll adjust the shape of the ear. Alright, this is looking good. Let's adjust the shape of the neck. And now this is the block out done. I'm going to select everything in Shift D. I'm going to move this into a backup collection just in case we messed up, so we can always still come back to that backup collection. Alright, now let's actually start sculpting. I'm going to select the sculpt. I'm going to sculpt mode, and I'm going to increase the image resolution. 0.04, 0.05 is fine. And then let's smooth out the geometry. Hold down Shift and smooth out the geometry. And then you can mark out the separation between the jaw and the cranium. Okay, that looks good. And let's solidify the shapes of the chin even more. Now that we have more geometry, I'm going to use the grab brush for this. I'm just going to pull this chin back. Nice. And I'll make the chin right here really straight, just like it is on our reference. I'm going to use the scrape brush to clean out the sides of the face. Something like this. And let's go ahead and mark out the eyeline for this character. So I think his eyeline is actually a little bit higher than usual, so I'll make sure to do that. I'm going to use the crease polish brush. I'm going to mark out the eyeline like so. Something like this, and I'll smooth out this area here. This is where the eye would sit, also at the bottom right here. And I'll just smooth out the rest of the face. Okay, the distance between the eyeliner and the eyebrows is not too much, so I'm just going to bring this up somewhere around here, and then I'm going to mark out the temple region once again. Okay, something like this looks nice. Okay, I see a question. Do you use a mouse or a pen? I use a display tablet. XP Pen Pro 14 is what I currently use, the display tablet. Okay, something like this looks good. Let's push in the eyes. You shouldn't forget that the eye sits in eye socket, so let's just push it in and then smooth this out. Nice. I'm also going to mark out the chin right here. That's just below the mouth, where the mouth will start from, so somewhere around here, and then we can pull this out. Okay, this looks good. I'm going to define the jaw even more, because that's a really unique feature on this character, so I'll make sure to refine the jaw a lot more. I'll use the crease polish brush now, and I'm just defining the edge of the jaw. We can also use the grab brush to push this out if we need to. Okay, something like this. Now this is looking good. Let's adjust the ear a little bit. Now that we have adjusted shapes of the face, we might need to adjust some other areas. Something like this looks good. I'm also going to adjust the neck. I'm going to edit mode, and I'll just scale this a lot more. Okay, something like that. And I'm going to use the grab brush, and I'll just put the jaw in a little bit. Actually have some other references here, so I'll just take a look at those. Okay, you can use this one, and I'll just adjust from the side view. So let's adjust the chin a little bit more. And it's always important to use reference anytime you're sculpting. If you're sculpting and you don't use reference, as like setting yourself up, so just always use reference. No matter what it is you're sculpting, just use reference. All right, the side profile is looking good. Okay, I think the forehead, yeah, the forehead looks nice. Let's go ahead and add in the nose on this character. Nose is also another unique feature of this character, so I'm going to add in a new round cube, scale it down. I'll bring it right here. I'll select half of the round cube, and I'm going to E and Z to extrude this up. Then I'll place this into the face, rotate it, and also right here. Then let's add in more geometry right here. I'll add in probably 4 more loop cuts, or probably 5 more loop cuts. Okay, that looks good. Now let's go into sculpt mode and sculpt this a bit more from here. I'm going to use the grab brush, and let's pull this in. So the nose is more or less like a triangle from the bottom, so something like this. And then let's take note of what the nose looks like from the side view. So we're just going to pull this in. Something like this. Let's go back to the front view, and we have the nose narrows at the bridge right here. So I'm just going to use the grab brush, pull this in a lot, something like this. And then let's also mark out the nostrils of this character. I'm going to pull this in with the grab brush. Nice. Let's pull out the nostrils. And we can bring this up and out like this. Nice. Let's make the shape of the nostril resemble what we have on our reference. So on the reference, we have something like this on the side of the nose. Let's go ahead and do that. I'll use the grab brush, pull this out. And I'll just pull this down, something like this. Let's make the side of the nostrils even more rounded. Okay, and I'm also going to put this into the nose like so. And yeah, something like this looks good for now. We are still going to come back to adjust this. I'm going to pull this down. Yeah, something like this for the nose looks good. And I'll just zoom out here. And I'm just making sure that we have appropriate space to place the lips. And I think that looks good. I'll just take this up just a tiny bit. And yeah, I think this is looking good for a block out. I'll go ahead and I'll select the nose and the head, Ctrl G to join them together. And then I'm going to increase the image resolution here and Ctrl R to remesh those two together. Alright, now we need to blend the nose with the rest of the face, and I'm going to use a clay shoes brush, and I'm just going to do this. And I'm going to smooth this out. Okay, nice. And that already starts to gives us a nice area around the eye. I am also going to mark out that eye line just a little bit more, and let's also mark out the eyebrow line even more. Something like this, and then you use the clay shoes brush, and I'm just going to add in some more volume right here, just so that the nose transitions nicely into the rest of the face. Okay, this looks nice. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of some of these lines, and I'm just going to mark out the temple region once again. Just to properly define the shape of the forehead and the side of the head. Something like this looks cool. Okay, let's keep on going. I think this looks good so far. I'm going to just bring out the nose, just space it out a little bit more, because I'm going for a stylized likeness here. I'm not going for like realistic. So yeah, to clear that up, I'm going to make it stylized just a bit. Something like this looks okay. And now we can go ahead and sculpt in the mouth from the side view. I'll make sure that the nose is the way we have it on our reference right here. Yeah, it's a really rounded tip of the nose, so just make sure to include that in the sculpt. And right here, you also notice that the nostrils come up and go back in. So I'll just use the clay shoes brush and I'll just do that. Alright, nice. I'm going to use the crease polish brush and I'm going to mark out the side of the nose. Okay, that looks good. And now we want to go in and add the mouth of this guy. Whenever you want to sculpt the mouth, make sure that you add in some more volume right here, because the mouth wraps around the teeth. So you want to make sure to indicate that, so that the mouth doesn't look flat on the face. The mouth wraps around the teeth, so just make sure to indicate that. Nice, this is looking good so far. Okay, before we add in the mouth, let's add in the eyes of this guy. So the eyes is going to either make or break this whole sculpt, because the eyes is actually what's going to determine if you're going to get the likeness or not. So let's go ahead and add in the eyes. Shift A, I'm going to add in a UV sphere. I'll rotate this on the x-axis by 90 degrees, scale it down, move it to the left side of the character, and just bring it out from that eye line that we marked in. Something like this. I'm going to right click and shade this smooth, and I'm also going to mirror this over to the other side. Okay, and I'm going to, one thing I like to do always when sculpting the eyes is to paint in the iris. So I'm going to go into edit mode. I'll select the faces that I want to paint the iris on. I'll go into vertex paint mode, make sure this face selection is turned on, and now we can paint on only those faces. Alright, make sure your viewport shading is also set to attributes, and this one is also set to attributes. Alright, now let's go in and sculpt the eyes. I'm going to increase the image resolution up somewhere around here, and on the eyes is a really simple shape on this reference. Let's go ahead and do that. I'll just zoom into the eye a little bit more. So we have double eyelids here, so make sure to add that in the sculpt. I'm going to use the draw brush to add in the eyelids, and let's draw the upper eyelid. Something like this. We can use the grab brush a little bit more to push and pull the eye into shape. Okay, something more like this. And then we can use the crease polish brush, and we can just mark out that edge of the upper eyelid, the upper edge of the upper eyelid, like so. Okay, and that looks good. Let's add in this part, like muscles right here. So I'm going to use the clay shoes brush to do that. I'm going to add in more volume right here. And then let's just smooth this out. And then I'm just going to use the draw brush. I'll add some volume right here, just above the eye, just to show that the fat sits at this portion, or the fat condense at this area right here. Something like this. Okay, that's starting to look good. For the eyes, I'm going to reduce the space or the width between the eyelids. I'll use the grab brush and I'll just pull this up. And let's also pull this up. Okay, something like this. Let's add in the lower eyelids so that we get a better feel for the sculpts. I'm going to use the exact same techniques. I'm going to use the draw brush. I'm just going to draw in the lower eyelids. I'm going to go over this a couple of times till I get somewhere I think it's fine. Okay, and let's smooth out these areas right here. And use the crease polish brush, mark out this lower edge of the eyelid, and define this edge of the lower eyelid. Let's use the grab brush to pull this part in a little bit more. All right, and I'm just going to rotate the eyes to match the way it looks on my reference. If I zoom this out, the eye is more in the middle. So I think we have taken the eye too far. It goes way too back. So let's go ahead and just bring this back in. And also bring this in here. And we'll make the opening of the eye a lot smaller. Bring this down. Something like this, and you can also bring this up, the lower eyelid. You can just bring it up. Okay, this looks good. Yeah, it is actually looking good. Let's use the script brush and just plane out some of these edges once again. I'll plane out this side of the face, and I'll use the cleaches brush actually, and I'll just add in some volume around the cheekbones going towards the mouth, and I'll smooth that out. Something like that. And I think the jaw or the chin is a bit too low right now, so let's go ahead. I'm just going to bring this up. Nice. That is looking good. Right there, we need to add in some volume on the nose. I'm going to use the cleaches brush and just add in some volume right there. So sculpting likeness is just all about it's all about observing your reference and transferring what you see onto your sculpt. I don't recommend you starting with likeness if you're just starting out. If you're just like learning how to sculpt, don't do likeness. Just probably like do maybe what is a good exercise? Just sculpt the planes of the head. Once you can understand or sculpt the planes of the head for any head, then you know how to sculpt any face. That's the main thing I recommend that you should start with, the planes of the head. If you know how to sculpt the planes of the head, then you know how to sculpt any face possible. Okay, this is looking good. I'm happy with the way this looks. I'll take a look at it from the side view. And I think think I'm going to bring the jaw higher, just a little bit more, something like this. All right. This looks good. Let's just go ahead and add in some more resolution to the neck and the bust, so we don't leave those too far behind. We're going to make the bust much bigger. I'm going to add in some more resolution. I'm going to sculpt this, smooth it out, and then also same for the neck, add in some more resolution. We can smooth it out. And I'll just add very small indication of anatomy at the neck here, and also add in the collarbone for the chest right here. Okay, something like this going to work for now. Nice. Let's also sculpt in the ears. Control R. Take the image resolution much higher. And then I'm just going to sculpt this, and let's actually just go ahead and sculpt in the ears right now. I think this bottom part of the ears need to be much smaller. Yeah, something like this. And we just sculpt in very simple stylized ears. I'll use the lasso marks brush, and I'll just select the part of the ear that I want to push in. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to use Control I. Yep. And let me actually just make sure to save this just so that Blender doesn't crash at some point. Alright, Control I to invert the selection. I'll use the grab brush and just pull this area of the ear in, something like this. I'll clear the mask. I'll increase the remesh resolution and Control R to remesh, and then let's smooth out the shapes right here. And then let's refine the shapes around here. I use the crease polish brush to mark out this edge of the inside of the ear. And I'll also use the crease polish brush, and I'm going to mark out this other edge right here. Okay, nice. This is looking good. I like how this is looking so far. Let's add in the mouth, and then we'll be able to tell how the sculpt is going. And we're already 40 minutes in. I plan to only spend 1 hour on this sculpt. So let's see if we can get to the finish line in under at least the next 30 minutes. All right, let's go ahead, and we're going to sculpt in the mouth, and I'll just bulk up this area where the mouth will sit a little bit more. Nice. And then let's use the crease polish brush and let's mark out the corners of the mouth. The mouth is actually very simple to do. You just need to mark out the corners of the mouth first, and actually let me just show you. So let's mark the corners of the mouth, something like this, and I think that looks good for the corner of the mouth. Probably take this in, and I like to push the corners of the mouth back, something like this. I'm going to also take this down. Okay, I see something in the comments. Now I'm sculpting too. Thank you for the inspiration. Okay, you're welcome, Megan. You're welcome. All right, nice. And let's mark out the lip line, or the line of the mouth, something like this. Most times a straight line is going to work. Just a simple straight line like this, and I'll probably just bring the corners of the mouth down a little bit more. All right, something like this. Nice. Let's sculpt in the upper lip and the lower lip. I'm going to use the draw brush, and let's add in some more volume right here. And I'll smooth out the transitions from the face right here to the mouth, and let's crease the upper lip. I'll use the crease polish brush, something like this. Okay, nice. I'll just bring down the lip a little bit more because there's actually mustache here, so I'm just going to bring down the lip a little bit more. Something like this. Also from the side, make sure it looks good. And just going to add in some volume right here, more volume right here. Nice. And let's crease the upper lip once again. Nice. Okay, that's a good. The upper lip looks good. And then let's go ahead and sculpt the lower lips. Exact same techniques. Use the draw brush and just add in some volume to the lower lip. Something like this. And we want to smooth out these areas right here. Nice. Let's take a look at this from the side profile. Let's just use the crease polish brush and mark out the side of the face. Sorry, the bottom, the crease of the bottom lip. What am I saying? Okay. Something like this looks good. Does it look like a reference? I don't know just yet. You guys actually tell me. Does it look like the reference? I don't think it does just yet. To make it look like the reference, you're going to need to add in some more color, and we're still going to do a lot of refining on the sculpt. So let's go ahead and do that. Now that we have the mouth and the eyes in place, let's go ahead and refine the sculpt. All right, I'm going to increase the remesh resolution up by a bit. Okay, and I'll start right here under the nostrils, and I'll just make sure this works like so. Okay, something like that. And then we need to also define the area around the eye. I'll just make sure that the eyelids drop around the eye. And let's crease the up eyelid, and I'm going to just refine the shapes around here. And let's also mark out the bottom of the eyelid and just refine that shape. Do you teach animation too? I do not teach animation, but I can teach you how to create characters. I don't teach animation because I'm not very proficient at animation. I can animate a little bit, but I'm not like badass. I'm not as good at it. So yeah, I just teach how to create 3D characters for now. When I get good at animation, probably I'll teach that too. Okay, let's add in the eyebrows and the eyelashes on this character, and then we'll truly see if this looks like this reference. Shift A, mesh, add in a plane, go into edit mode, RX and 90, and let's go into edit mode, scale this down, bring this right here. Let's turn on the snapping, face project, and then choose rotate and scale. Make sure to turn it on, and then let's just extrude in really simple eyebrows for this character. Okay, let's mirror that over to the other side, and let's add in a solidify modifier. And then let's change the thickness of the solidify modifier. Then let's add some color to this. Okay, and we can also sculpt in the eyelid, the eyebrows too. I'll bring this right here. Let's add in some color also to the sculpt, just so that we can see how the sculpt is looking a little bit. Okay, yeah, I think it's actually looking like the reference actually. Let's just keep on working on it. We still need to make a lot of changes, but I can kind of see the likeness there. Let's choose a nice skin tone. Bring down the saturation. Something like this. I'll Control C to copy this. And let's just copy and paste these colors to the rest of the objects. And let's bring down the color of the brows a little bit. And I'll also model in the eyelashes for this character. Shift D to duplicate that. And let's extrude this out. I'll hide the eyes and just extrude the other parts of the eyelashes. Let's unhide the eyes, and I'll select this and I'll separate that into its own object. Let's reduce the solidify modifier on that, and yeah, I definitely see the resemblance on the character right now. I think we need to add in a couple of things, but I do see the likeness a bit. All right, that looks good. Let's sculpt in the lips a little bit more. I'm going to use the crease polish brush. I'm just going to mark out the corners of the mouth. Something like this. Let's inflate the mouth with the inflate brush and just inflate this a little bit. Okay, I'm also going to sculpt in the corners of the mouth, adding some volume right here, and then we can smooth this out. And then let's make the shapes of the lip more like what we have on our reference. So if I zoom in here, let's see. I'm going to use the grab brush. I'll pull this up. And then I'm also going to sculpt this chin right here. Nice. And I'll sculpt in the corners of the mouth a little bit more. Nice. This is looking good. I like this. And I'm going to select these two. Let me actually just join them together. And then let's sculpt this together. Smooth out the transitions right here. And we can bring up the shoulders just a bit more. Nice. I like how this is looking. All right, I see some questions in the chat. Hello Kenny, hello SJ Cool, how are you doing? Hey Kenny, it's looking great, but I came in a bit late. No, it's fine. You can always rewatch the replay on my YouTube channel. Hi, Jmund Arts, just popped in, saw your sculpt challenge, and I'm wondering how you got the transparency on the view. Okay, I believe you're talking about the sculpt challenge that we did on Discord. Let me just open up that file actually, and I'll show you how I did that. It's very easy to do. This one, let's open it up. So on this character, on the veil, just go to the object properties. Under the color right here, turn down the alpha, and make sure you're in viewport display, like you're in the color attribute. This will only, that option only shows up in the color attribute. If you're in material, I don't think that works here. It doesn't work. So make sure you're in the attributes, and then turn down the view, the alpha of that. Nice. I see another question. How did you add mesh to the line? Okay, I think you're talking about the eyebrows when I was extruding the eyelashes. So if I duplicate this and I just do this, so if you select these two, you can press F to fill in that face. You can select this, press F, and then you can just select this edge and press F to make a new face. F just creates a new face. So yeah, that's how I did that. I'm going to change this color up a little bit more, make it skin much darker. Ctrl C, and I'm also going to paste this in my laptop is bad, so I'm using a low-end laptop with Blender 2.9 because the recent Blender can't run on it, so I'm going back to sculpting soon. Yeah, definitely go back into sculpting. Sculpting is too good for you to miss out, so yeah, definitely get back to sculpting if you've not done it for a long time. All right, nice. Let's finish off the sculpt. We have spent a total of 50 minutes here, so yeah, let's finish up the sculpt. And I think this looks good for what we have in 50 minutes. I think the nose is coming out a bit too much on the side, so let's fix that up, and also just bring the mouth out just a little bit more. All right, I'm going to bring this right here. Okay, next thing I'm actually going to do is to actually start adding in some color. So just color the mustache in, and let's see how that looks. So I'm going to copy this color from here and paste it right here, and then let's just paint this in, and let's just paint in really just black color for the mustache. Let's see how that looks. Maybe that's too much. I'll actually just copy this color, paste it here, and I'll choose a darker version of that color, and let's just paint that right here. Okay, this is what we have with the mustache. I just refine the shape of the mustache a little bit more, something like that. It's not too bad. And let's also sculpt in the beard, or painting the beard at the bottom here. Something like this. Now that I look at this, I don't actually know if you got the likeness, but it's fine. It's fine. This is just practice. So yeah, it's fine. Okay, I see a question. How long have you been sculpting? I've been sculpting so far for, I think, since 2020. So that's 5 years. 2020. Yeah, that's how long I've been sculpting for. Okay, I'm just going to add some more color right here. And then I'll just paint in like very just basic shape to just mark out the shape of the hair. Okay, something like this. Okay, I like what we have so far. Let me just refine the shapes. Okay, I think the nose is a bit too low, so I'm just going to bring that higher. I'll use the grab brush and I'll bring this up. Then we can also bring the cheek in a little bit more. I was starting to see the likeness on this character, but now I don't see it anymore. Which is unfortunate, but that's fine. I'm going to merge the ear with the head, Ctrl G to join this together, and let's remesh this all together. And I'm just going to smooth out the transitions right here. Okay, something like this, and let's paint in the ears. Okay. Looking good. Looking good. I'm going to bring this in a little bit more. And then I'm just sculpting the eyes a little bit more. Sculpting the upper eyelids a bit more. Okay, and I'm speaking less right now because I'm focusing on the sculpt, so sorry about that. Okay, I see a question. Bro, I'm currently watching your 4-hour 30-minute video sculpting for beginners. I'm thinking about sculpting, rigging plus animation. What do you think is that good combination when I'm going to start a career? Yeah, definitely. Sculpting, rigging, animation is beautiful. If you can make a whole character, like take it from scratch and take it all the way to a final animation, then you're definitely going to land the job at some point here. So yeah, that's definitely a good start, a good place to start from for your career. All right, this is looking good. I am not going to sculpt the hair because my time is up. But the time I like to for this live stream is just 1 hour. So we have gotten to, we have actually not gotten to an hour. It's 58 minutes. So let's just keep on working on the sculpt. Let's see. I think he made a right curl raise in the nose, but it's crunched up a little bit, and that decreased the likeness, or like his likeness a bit. Yeah, I've given up on the likeness. So I'm just going to leave it right now. I don't know. Likeness is not something you should like be rushing to do, and I'm trying to do it in 1 hour, which is not ideal at all. But yeah, this is practice. So yeah, I'm just practicing. This looks okay for me. Can you show us how you make this curly hair? Let me see. I didn't want to sculpt the hair, but if I was going to sculpt the hair for this character, you can use the snake hook brush. So this brush right here, the snake hook brush, and then you can just do this, something like this, and then just go around and do this on the whole head of the character, and it will look a bit curly. So that's how I would approach doing the hair if I was doing it, but I'm not going to do it, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Do you know Ethel has a program for 3D and other stuff? No, I never knew that. What's the name of the program? Do you know? This is looking good, and yeah, I think this is going to be the end of this live stream. This was a nice practice round. I mentioned at the start of this live stream that this can go horribly wrong or very right, and I think we're just like halfway in the middle. So I think the likeness sculpt is okay. Yeah. Before I go, I'll tell you guys about my mentorship program. If you want to learn how to create 3D characters, your own 3D characters, and you want to like not spend like 5 years like learning everything about creating 3D characters like I did, you can join the mentorship program. Slots are going to open for the mentorship program by January next year. So go to learn.keneza.com, is the first link in the description. So here are some results from students that have completed the 12 weeks of mentorship program. So how the 12 weeks of mentorship program works: there are 12 weeks, and in those 12 weeks there are 2 live classes every Monday and every Friday. You also have weekly critiques, and all classes will be recorded for you and uploaded to your dashboard in case you miss any class. This is everything we are going to cover in the 12 weeks. So week 1, we are going to choose a concept. In week 2, from week 1 to week 4, we are going to be doing sculpting. So we are going to block out the base mesh, sculpt the head, sculpt the body, hair, and the hands, and then we are going to sculpt in the clothes. And then week 5 to week 8 is going to be everything about retopology. I'm going to introduce you to retopology for the face, retopology for the body, and we're going to do some additional modeling, and then we're going to finalize the topology. Week 9 is hair grooming. I'm going to show you how to groom hair. And week 10, we're going to look at texturing. Week 11, rigging and posing with Rigify. And then week 12, everything about presentation, final renders, and how to set up your renders for your portfolio and stuff like that. You can check out more about the mentorship program in the first link in the description. And if you press here, join and start creating now, just give me your best email address so that when spots are open, I'm going to let you know. So make sure to check that out, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Thank you guys for joining. Bye bye.